3/4 of the people died by a cardiovascular insult. That's the biggest enemy of culture.
Can you explain what kind of cardio you recommend doing?
I'm a fan of this cardio. ChatGPT, I'm sure, can write brilliant plans. Less calories, more cardio. Less cardio, more calories.
Use of GH, growth hormone, causes cancer. Stefan, I have a few questions that were submitted to us from the readers, okay? I want to give you a few questions. These are primarily functional or just your opinion. So, a question from the audience. Why so many bodybuilders look great in their social media a week before the show, and then it looks like they deflate right before they get on the stage?
So the first reason is that a lot of bodybuilders live for social media and not for the stage. That's something my athletes do different. So that's one reason. And social media postings, people want to have the best shot in the best moment of time, the best light, the best angle, and everything is just done to perfection, which you can simulate on stage because the photographer is sitting somewhere, you are doing your poses somehow, and you are not allowed to get into the shadow or to walk into perfect light, that the picture maker is having the chance to do a good picture. So sometimes people never look better. It's just the illusion because the picture is better.
I see what you're saying.
But sometimes people f it up also. But I think that's less often the case than actually good pictures in the time before the show.
Got it. Next thing, blood pressure. Okay, so I guess it is assumed that blood pressure is a big problem for bodybuilders. I guess the
blood pressure is the biggest problem for everyone. As I said before, when I was working in the pathology, 3/4 of the people died by a cardiovascular insult, stroke or heart attack. And all that is forced by bad lipids and bad blood pressure. So in all, I would say, wealthy cultures with overfeeding, that's the biggest enemy of culture, and not only in bodybuilding. So blood pressure is an important point for the health of a society and need to be took care about because that let people die.
So the question is, how do you advise your athletes to keep the blood pressure in check? What are the, I guess, steps you can do to you know what I mean, level your blood pressure?
Cardio plays a big role, good nutrition plays a big role, and if it's not possible to get into a good range of bodybuilding and gear increases that much, you should overthink if it's worth for you.
If it's basically an actual problem, if you're prone to high blood pressure. So. Yeah, I hear you. All right, next question. Are supersets necessary to grow?
Once again?
Supersetting.
Supersets, no.
Not necessary.
You know, intensity and I would say progressive overload, or as I would call it, but said differently, getting better in what you do is necessary. Superset can be one tool for that, but flat sets with progressive overload can be that. Drop sets can help, more repetitions can help, more weight can help. You all can break that down in, it must be a high quality training and you need to get better in what you do. So that's the reason why people grow or why people progress.
Mm-hmm. Do you recommend to train one body part more than once a week?
It depends on the genetic of a person. There's a very good interview from Ronnie Coleman where he said he recognized that after training, he was immediately recovered. And that was the reason why he always trained everything 2 times a week. Some people can, some people can't. And it's up to you to find out how fast you can recover from a session. And if you can recover from a session, you can train the things twice a week. Yes.
Can you explain carb cycling, and do you recommend doing carb cycling to your athletes?
As I said in the beginning, I'm a guy who is a fan of keeping everything simple. I need to objectivate things that I can replicate things. So for me, I'm not a guy who is going to carb cycle. I like different calories because of different needs on the day. When it's a training day, you need more energy than when it's a rest day. But I wouldn't call that carb cycling.
Got it. What are the most common diet mistakes that bodybuilders make during prep?
Change things too often and not being patient. Going down with the calories too fast. Underestimate fatigue and beaten down bodies, and then even going more down with the calories, and that will get you into a death circle with no success.
Mm-hmm. What cardio do you recommend? What is enough, basically? Walking on treadmill, is running necessary? What kind of, guys, can you explain what kind of cardio you recommend doing?
That's totally different from person to person. There, for example, Martin Fitzwater didn't do a minute of cardio
I read about that.
in all the preps, and there are sometimes people who need to do 1 hour a day or even more. For me, it's important to do as least cardio as possible because it will steal your recovery time. When you need to do cardio, do the cardio which is the least stress for you. So if you have a bike at home, do the bike at home and don't go 30 minutes to the gym to do something and then 30 minutes back and losing a bunch of time, which gets you into more stress. When it comes to intensity, I'm a fan of less cardio. So being in a aerobic state of metabolism, so a heart rate around 120, maximum 130, depending a little bit on age, and do steady state cardio is the thing I would prefer, but also that can go to HIIT cardio sessions if you need it to produce a higher caloric deficit. So it depends a little bit on the athlete. It depends a little bit on the fat you need to lose and on your time frame you have to get into shape.
So can you explain it? Martin didn't do any cardio. Like, does that mean he's just lean? Not like he's just, the diet is so intense that he's just lean?
He, as we said before, it's one part will be genetic, that he has a very good metabolism. So he was able to eat quite a lot and not needing cardio. And the second thing is intensity in training and the way you train play a big role in how much calorie you waste during training. And he's just a monster when he trains. His intensity is spot on. So he's mobilizing so many calories during his training that we need to have a close eye on his recovery and resting more than to have any other waste of calories.
So if he was to do cardio during prep, he wouldn't improve. He would actually hurt his physique. Is that accurate?
In that specific prep, the last times, yes, definitely.
But that can all change now.
Things can change anyway. But I had really much more times to tell him we do an extra rest day today than saying we need to drop calories or even include cardio, because that was never the fact. We always were perfectly in the time frame. We had been on the body fat levels weeks before the show, always. So we had the possibility to cruise in quite easy.
That's amazing. It's so crazy because I remember interviewing some bodybuilders and they tell me in prep they would do an hour, even more than an hour of cardio per day.
That can be. So that's what I was saying. It's from person to person different, and genetics are different. You just need to find out what works best for that specific person.
So it all comes down to, as a coach, you see the progress pictures, and based on that, you make those decisions. It's only
and you need to learn to read between the lines. Sometimes people think coaching is about writing plans. ChatGPT, I'm sure, can write brilliant plans, training plans, nutrition plans. Coaching comes down to doing decisions. needing to know when to change something. If it's less calories, more cardio, less cardio, more calories, break, rest, more training, less training. That's actually the job of a coach. And sometimes people just think a job of a coach is to change the plans every 2 weeks or every week. That's nothing which will lead to success. Doing the right decisions and replicating it, that's actually what will make a winner and what the job of a coach is.
That's a lot of decisions you got to make for a lot of different people. I'm sure it gets overwhelming for you now.
And you need to be efficient in that, and you need to have parameters for that. And you will make good decisions when the data you get is quite clear. If you're overcomplicating things, the data you get won't be clear, because you never know what lead you to that result when everything is blown up,
But unfortunately, if they don't perform well, you're the first one to blame, right?
But that's part of the job,
Stefan, last question from the audience. Is it true that use of GH, growth hormone, causes cancer or can cause cancer?
Growth hormone is one of our body natural substances, even if it has a little bit of a different sequence, the medical one than our own one. And growth hormone plays a big role in the cell replication. Actually, it makes cell replication better. It helps the cells to have a better renewing process in general. But it also, so it makes cells grow faster and better. But it also makes cancer cell grow better and faster. Growth hormone will never lead to cancer because the cell replication process just works finer. But if you have cancer, the cancer will grow faster. So it doesn't lead to cancer, but if you have cancer cells in your body, they will get bigger faster.
Got it. That makes sense. All right, man. That was a good interview. I'm a big fan of yours. I've been following you for for this year especially, and I know that you are now in the conversation for being one of the top coaches, of course, which is incredible. I think
Thank you.
Thank you, man. How about what do you got going on next? What are you traveling to?
I won't be traveling until the Arnolds, I think. So I stay at home now.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.